What it do?
Shalom, shalom, my.
Can't call it, man. Can't call it.
How you feeling?
Good, man. Got me a little rest in. How you
Right on,
feeling,
right
man?
on.
Yeah, you played 48 minutes tonight.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good, man. Body getting used to it, so we adapting well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Health is
yeah.
wealth too, man.
Straight
Health is
up. You
wealth.
already
My
know.
eye, my eye busted down on that treadmill. I said, "Hey, he getting it in
Bruh.
over here
My
running
boy
like he was."
running and gunning, you hear me?
Hey, he was running on that treadmill like he was auditioning for I Am Legend 2, 3.
Hey, listen, getting
Got
chased
to
by
be
that
Will
dog,
Smith
you hear me?
stuntman.
Right, right. Getting chased by that dog, gotta get up through.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So wait on the brother to jump on or whatnot, and we gonna just kind of go from there. So I thought
Right.
did I play a few tracks before we started, or
Nope.
we
Nope,
just
not
went
yet.
straight in? Okay,
Yep.
okay, cool. All right, cool, man. So while everybody or while we waiting on everybody to come on out, let's take a quick little brief intermission or whatnot, probably about 5 minutes or so. I'm still over here kind of setting up and everything. So
Right on.
yep, yep. That's why I just started to show y'all. Heard? I said FYI, we just started the show. I said the show just started. FYI, just letting you know. Yeah, we already started. Just waiting on a few people. No, I mean you ain't gotta put it up now. I was just letting you know. Yeah, right now I can't see nothing. I don't know how many. I don't know if we got a few viewers. Um, all right, y'all. So while we waiting on the we actually got a guest on tonight. So while we waiting on the brother uh to come on, shalom, shalom to everybody that's joining in. Um, if everybody is familiar with the post we put out last week, um, we were going to have a dialogue with a brother from I think they particular camp is called the House of Benjamin. All right, they out of Barbados, and we put out something, speaking about Adam, wasn't it wasn't a whole group of people created, as Adam or tribes and stuff like that. And the brother came on to contest against it as far as the post he did. And he said something, around the nature of, y'all don't read the Hebrew, stuff like that. So we invited him on. Last week's show didn't work out, but this week's show he agreed to come on and dialogue with us. And it was never going to be a debate from the jump, just more so an open dialogue, like the preliminary to a possible debate if need be. But I would want the brother to come on to share a testimony with everybody, because he actually agreed with us. According to his messages in our inbox, he actually agreed with us to say that Adam was the first man. All right. And that's a hallelujah, for him to have, one particular belief on who Adam was, and then him, to then do some research, within a week span, and then come around to the light and to the knowledge of, there wasn't many people created in the garden, many people being here. You know what I mean? And so pretty much, man, we waiting on this brother to come on and stuff like that so we can get the show rolling. He's going to actually share with the people how he came to that conclusion. All right. And that's a beautiful thing when you really think about it. So, yep. So while we waiting, man, those that's in the chat, those that's viewing, kind of talk to us a little.
I think you okay. I was gonna say if you're talking, I can mute it.
Oh, okay.
Or I can't hear you for some reason.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me?
Nah.
I can hear you. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I know the listening audience can hear me because Yash was texting me as I was talking. So you ain't pretty much hearing nothing I said then. Can't hear nothing. You just see my lips moving. Dang.
I still can't hear you.
Hey Yash, can you shoot him a text and let him know he might have to back out and come back in? Because if I back out, it's just gonna let me see something. Hold on,
Say something, because I still can't. I still don't get no audio from you.
Can you hear me? All right. So the I can't hear me. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. So let's talk to some of the viewers, man. Did any of y'all catch that little dialogue that I had with the non-Masonic brother yesterday? It was like kind of on the spot, so it wasn't nothing we could have made anybody aware of or whatnot. We just seen that the brother was live. This brother been kind of, sharing his information for quite some time. I've been wanting to get him on these live streams, and when we seen him went live, we like, hey, let's see what he on. Sent him a request, and it went from there, man. I think it was a pretty good dialogue, though. It's on the Israel Now page if y'all ain't catch it yesterday. Hopefully the brother ain't delete the video. Okay. Yup. RDI, yup. You was standing right there, shoulder to shoulder. Yup. I think it was good, and I think them conversations be needed because a lot of times we don't be having much resistance, like on the Shabbat and stuff like that. We can only really tell like everybody what be said and what be going on out there and how to deal with it. But when you actually really got the true resistance in front of your face, you know what I mean? You really start seeing, hey, it's really a lot of bad doctrine out here. And so a lot of people may think like, why even waste your time with these people? You know what I mean? And I think it's it's part of the ingredients to our walk. You know what I mean? The scriptures actually be contesting to the fact of, dialoguing with people, you know what I mean, and how to deal with them and stuff like that. Can you hear me out?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
All right, cool. Yep. So, but I'm just talking to the people right now, about the dialogue that we had yesterday with the non-Messianic brother. And
Right.
Yeah, I was just saying like how I think them dialogues really be needed. And I pray this prayer all the time. Like, you know what I mean, those that's familiar with the prayer on the Shabbat day that I always institute. Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So not everything is gonna be a salvational topic, and if it's not salvational, it can almost seem like a waste of combo, a waste of time. But if we understand when the scriptures say your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, you understand that it's the word that helps navigate your walk. We just got to know it's an immature conversation that's a waste of time versus a mature conversation or dialogue. So yeah, if it's immature, I ain't wasting my time. If you got too much, mockery in your tone and all of that, and I ain't wasting my time with you. Paul spoke about that. When men come, they be doting about strifes, and all these different questions and stuff like that. Don't waste your time with them. But if it's like a person want to sit in front and dialogue, then we got a whole vast majority of people to edify,
Right.
And
Yep.
And we owe it to them. Like if we the ones that's calling ourselves teachers and we doing all this studying, we owe it to the people that want to get to that level. You know what I mean? So, yep. If y'all ain't catch that dialogue, go back and check it out.
Nail on the head, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's one of them things where, like you said, we owe it to the people. But not only that, you got a lot of people that really in this truth that they want the strife, they want the conflict. Like they don't try to have these dialogues or try to edify. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of what I've seen, over and this is a short time in the walk, but a lot of people not really trying to edify the people. They're not really trying to, they want to combat. And like you said, they got a lot of mockery in their tone and, all of that. And it's just one of those things, man, where I'm going to go ahead and wipe my feet off and keep moving because ain't nothing fruitful coming from this. You know what I'm saying? Nope, ain't nothing fruitful coming from this. The people not being edified. All they seeing is strife. All they seeing is contention, discord, division. You know what I mean? And it's just something that, like you said, you just better off not even engaging in them type of conversations.
Right. Yep. I like what you said too, Ak, as far as and we're gonna probably wait till 9 o'clock, man. I'm not sure what the brother is doing. I can't see the activity in our Israel Now inbox. So y'all's trying to, set it up with the brother and get him to come on. Stuff like that. So we'll probably wait till like 9 o'clock. And if he don't come on, that's cool. We'll just deal with both sides, as far as what they teach, and then kind of just throw some stuff out there. You know what I mean? I think a lot of our people, especially at Israel Now, is on board with this whole doctrine about Adam being the first man and stuff like that. But I just want to throw some stuff out there to the people, that may not have looked at, all right, what questions to ask. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes if you kind of sometimes when you just reading the scriptures, you read it for what it is, and then you never really put yourself in the shoes of another person, how they think. You know what I mean? And how would they answer this? You feel me? And
True.
what questions I can ask them to let me know
Yep.
substantially that this is true, what I'm reading on this side, and it's false what they reading on that side. So that's what I'm gonna be
Right.
kind of doing tonight. You know, like I don't think a lot of people be
All
even
right.
knowing to ask these individuals these particular questions about their own doctrine. You know what I mean? So
Right.
uh,
Right. Yep. Yep. That's good. That's good.
oh, we both
Good.
won today. Yeah, 2 dubs
Oh
for us
yeah.
today, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Two
Yeah,
doves. 2 doves for Israel now. You hear me?
2 dubs, man. 2 dubs. Yeah, I kind of moved on from the slaughtering what we had to do to my eye last week. Moved
Yeah,
on
man.
from
We're
that,
gonna try
man.
to get that back. Hopefully, later in the season. You know what I'm saying? We'll
Hey,
try to
but I
get
was
that
rooting
back.
for him though. Like, you know what I mean, I told a couple of your teammates, Will, I said, I don't know if you was right there, but I was like, hey, if we ain't playing against y'all, I'm rooting with y'all. You feel me? Like,
Word.
I'm
That's
rooting
it.
with
Yep.
y'all. Like, I mean, but
That's it, bro.
yeah, Artie, y'all gotta come check us out, man. It'd be some real, competitive games and whatnot.
Nah, cats be hooping. Cats be hooping for real.
Yeah. Will said touchdown. Hey, he missed you on the second one. Oh,
Yes, sir.
missed
Yes,
him on the
sir.
second
He
one.
missed me on the second one.
He missed you,
Yeah, he
bro.
did. I be out of there. You hear me?
Smart man. Smart man. Play some defense
Listen,
hey, play a couple defense in the backcourt. Leak out. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. That's it, bro. You gotta use. Hey, at this age, bro, you gotta use a little wisdom. You know what I'm saying? You gotta use a little wisdom. That's that LeBron, bro. That's that LeBron. I use a little wisdom. But nah,
Yeah.
man, it'd be so good, brother, just to get out there with the brothers, man, and just hoop, man. You know what I'm saying? With it, I mean, you got to stay in shape, get that cardio up, get them lungs open. You know what I'm saying? It's just real good to hoop with the brothers, and I ain't gonna hold you, bro. In our city, bro, it's hard to find some solid rec. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, it's just good to get out there with the brothers, man, and just get some good rec in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, let me let me get with one of these trainers, bro. I'm gonna be running around here like Nephtali. Well, Nephtali was running.
Yes,
Nephtali
sir.
was
Yes,
running,
sir.
bro. He was running so
Hey,
fast, the grass ain't even bend.
listen,
Like what? How you
listen,
run that
bro.
fast? That boy
Bruh,
he
moving
had
faster
crackhead
than the speed of
speed.
light.
Hey, he had
Mm-hmm.
crackhead
Get
speed.
up through sap.
Like how you running from Forest Park to Batavia? You know what I
Split
mean?
second.
Hey,
He out of here in 5 minutes.
he out of here. You feel me? He
Yes,
out of here. But
sir.
yeah, y'all. Talk to us for a little minute, man. We got a couple minutes, man. What y'all life be like, man? What the scripts be like? What y'all done came across, man? It's always something that's out there. Sometimes we may not catch it all, man. What's out there? I know Vok stirring up the pot with these non-messianics. His post jumping with them right now. His
Oh,
post
wow,
jumping
keep it
right
spicy. Spicy with the non-Mason. Keep them on their toes. You know what I'm saying? Keep
now.
them on their
Mm-hmm.
toes, man. Got to. Got to, man. Hey, man, I got a heart, man. I gotta say it again to the people, man. For those who are watching right now, if you didn't watch yesterday's Shabbat lesson on understanding Paul Part 3, you're doing yourself a disservice, man. I'm telling you. Go back and check that last one out. We just brought it home. You know what I'm saying? We capped it off real nice. Um, and again, it's just one of them things, man, where understanding Paul is going to be so key in his walk because, you have Israel who flocked to Paul, you know what I'm saying? And then you have a lot of our people who are Israel who are still in the Christian church. That's their man. They speak more Paul than they do with a Messiah. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
it's one of them things where it's like I don't understand that, but I think it's one of them things where they kind of just regurgitate you know, what they hear the pastor preaching, and you know, they don't take the time to fully study, or you know, they might read, but they don't meditate, and it's different. There's a difference between reading and meditating on the word. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so I just encourage everybody, man, if you haven't, please go back and check out yesterday's lesson on the Shabbat for understanding Paul Part 3. There's some more nuggets in there, some more jewels in there that you can add to your arsenal. You know, it'll deepen your studies. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, man, it'll deepen your walk with the Most High, because to understand Paul is to understand what's going on right now. To understand Paul is to understand what's going on right now. And so yeah, I just wanted to encourage y'all, man. Check that out. And if you ain't watched none of them, start from 1 and work your way up. Don't jump to 3, because you're gonna miss too much, and it's gonna be hard for you to try to connect the dots. So start from 1 and then work your way up to Part 3. It'll be a blessing to you for real.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. That's good word, and good encouragement for the people, man. So it's now 9:01, man. Let's get it cracking a little bit, So all right. What my title with real quick. Let me look at the ticker. What he put there. It say was Adam the first man? All right, cool. Pretty simple for the people that believe that Adam was the first man. But let's make sure that what's simple to us can be understood to, you know, the other people that make it not simplistic. All right. And also make sure that we dotting every I, crossing every T, even though we believe this stuff. All right. So Adam. Now, I would always say this: ancient Hebrew is gonna always put the nail in the coffin. Ancient Hebrew is always gonna expose, you know, what the truth is on a lot of things. If we go into the word Adam in the ancient Hebrew, or my bad, if we go into the word man, and I see
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to say this real quick. So I emailed the brother the link to the show. I inboxed him the link to the show, and then I called him in the Facebook Messenger that we've been dialoguing with him on, and no answer. So just so you know, and I will know, and everybody in the listening audience knows. So, you know, That's pretty much that.
He not even reading it, is he? Like, you know, how the chat head pop up to indicate that he read it.
Oh, I'm not even sure. I don't even know.
Yeah, if you're looking at the inbox, if you're looking on that right side, at your last message, the profile, if the profile circle is down at the bottom, you can tell he read it.
Oh, it'll show like his profile circle.
Yep, it'll drop to the bottom on the last under your last message.
Nope. Nope. He didn't read it then. Nope. He read that last one though. I think you sent to him at Heron after you sent after the link was sent. I think you put click this link out. He read that.
Yep.
And that was like right at 8:30.
Okay, cool.
I sent him a message after that. He didn't read it, and I called him after that.
That's cool. Yep. That's cool. So
y'all know.
Appreciate it, Op.
Yeah. All right, I'm about to chime out.
All right. So before we get started, if you just joined in, like I said, this brother, and I know you didn't hear this part, Will, but the brother was supposed to come on last week and just have an open dialogue last week with an opposing side of who Adam was. And his side was pretty much going to be what we're going to be bringing out tonight as far as what the camps believe in. And so that was last week. And he said he couldn't make it because something came up. Cool. And then this week, when I hit him up, you know, to confirm, like, hey, you ready to do it this week? Because we was going to do it anyway. As far as Israel now, we was going to bring it out anyway, whether he jumped on or not. But he was saying like, yeah, you know, I'm, you know, ready to go tonight or whatnot. And then he hit up and said, y'all was right. He said Adam was the first man. And that was it. And I'm like, cool, hallelujah. And I just thought to myself, you know, like, how would this go now? You know, the fact that he actually agreed. And my wife was like, you should text him and tell him to still come on the show and, you know, see how he came to that conclusion. And I'm like, cool. So when I hit him up with that, he like, yeah, I'll still come on. So that's what he was gonna come on and do and pretty much share like how he came to the conclusion. And we was gonna still go forth with the show, showing and stuff like that. So it's gonna almost be like he was gonna be learning more of, you know, the tools to use and stuff like that. All right. So hopefully he, you know, hopefully he watching or hopefully he end up tuning in, kind of catch some of these scriptures that we're gonna bring out tonight. All right, so back to the point. Man, the English word for man is written in Genesis 1 and 26. Let's go there real quick. So we see the English word man written in Genesis 1 and 26. And like I said, Hebrew is always going to expose, you know, the truth of the matter. With what our scriptures was originally written in. All right. So yeah, all we want out is Genesis 1 and 26, and then we'll just break that down and move forward.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 26. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
All right. So Elohim said, let us make man in our image. Now, when we read the word man for what it is in the English, it can come out to mean many definitions, right? It can mean one man, it can mean mankind in the English. But if we went to the Hebrew right here, the Hebrew word wouldn't be man as in, you know, mankind that we know of. The Hebrew word here would be Adam. All right. And so when you read it in the Hebrew for what it is, the Almighty is saying, let us make Adam in our image, right? Now, that would be pretty easy to a person that accepts the ancient Hebrew, to a person that studies the ancient Hebrew and different things of that nature, right? Even a modern. So it would be the Hebrew word H120. Let us make Adam in our image. We have an English, we have a Hebrew word for man, and we also have another Hebrew word for mankind. And all you got to do is think, well, if the Most High was talking about mankind like a whole group of people, right? Why would the Almighty steer us wrong to think when we read this, it's not talking about just one man or the first man, Adam? Why wouldn't we have the Hebrew definition for man, which is Ish? All right, let's get that real quick. Let me see real quick where I want to go. It's written many places, but I want let me see real quick where I want to go. If you find it before me, that's cool too. So so we got Hebrew word 120, that's Adam. All right. We got 1 second. I'm gonna find it because I was just there. All right. Hebrew word H376. Right? This also say man in the English. All right. I'm in Genesis 2 and 23. Let's read that one out.
God. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man.
Right. So y'all see that, right? So he said, peep game. And Adam, H120 said, this is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of what? Ish. So that's two Hebrew words, one defining what man is by gender, and the other one being the name of the first man. All right. And so if you look at both of them, the word Ish is not written in Genesis 1 and 26 to indicate that it's talking about just any old man. The Most High was specific when he said, let us make Adam, which is a man by gender, duh. But the Almighty didn't use the word Ish here like he used the word Ish in Genesis 2 and 23. Now, let's get the definition or the Hebrew word for mankind, because they'll wrap their doctrine around this whole, it was mankind in the garden at this time. And they'd be like, y'all missed it. But it's like, no, y'all missed it. The Almighty, we're going to pull out a couple scriptures to show why the Almighty don't play these allegorical games and these in the dark games when it comes to understanding, you know, what it is, you know what I mean, in the Torah, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Where I want to go. Let's go to Leviticus 18. Let's get the definition for mankind. Got to cover all aspects. Leviticus 18 and 22. Then you got to just stop and ask yourself all these questions. Why ain't the Almighty say Ish in Genesis 1 and 26? And why didn't the Almighty say this Hebrew word in Genesis 1 and 26? All right, so go ahead when you get there.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination.
Right. Addressing who? The nation of Israel, right? Who consists of man, woman, and child. Thou shalt not lie with mankind. A whole nother Hebrew word. Guess what this Hebrew word come from? H2145. Zakar. The Almighty didn't say, let us make Zakar in our image or Aish in our image. So process of elimination let us know he talking to a specific one man whose name was Adam. All right, now let's move forward. What do they teach? What would the camps, how would the camps address this? They're gonna go to this scripture here. Let's go back to Genesis 1. I want everybody to pay close attention to this, because, well, before we go there, let's get Numbers 12. You get Numbers 12, pick it up at verse 8. I'm gonna get 2 Peter 3. I think it's 2 Peter. We got to substantiate this. We say it all the time, but when you read it, it makes more, you know what I mean? It adds more clarity to the dialogue. Maybe it's first. Hold up. Okay. Read that Numbers 12 real quick, starting at verse 8.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 12, starting at verse 8. With him I will speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of Yahweh shall he behold. Wherefore, then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against. Go ahead.
So what the Almighty is saying right here, when it comes to how he speak to Moses, he don't speak to him in dark speeches or riddles. It's not hard to find. It's straightforward. Right. And so from Genesis to Deuteronomy, Moses is writing this out. Moses is writing what's occurring here. He's writing the creation story. He's writing it and he's giving it to the people, right? As is. So he didn't give this stuff to him in the time frame that he gave it to him in. He didn't give it to him with Moses is scratching his head like, what do you mean by Adam? Was it more people in the garden? Was it this? Is the clouds people? Or the grass people? Or the trees people? No, clouds is clouds, grass is grass. All of this is what it is in this stanza. All right. So let's go to another place. I'm gonna pick it up at 2 Peter 1 and 20. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 20. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. All right. So when we read in our scriptures about these things, the prophecies, the teachings, the doctrine, it doesn't have a private interpretation. You want to know what the Messiah did when he gave an analogy? I mean, when he gave a reference to something, he gave the analogy and gave the sense. He gave the understanding of what this analogy meant. is not leaving people to wonder, like, wait a minute, he said the kingdom of heaven is like unto 10 virgins. And he stopped there and left you to wonder and scratch your head. What does the rest of it mean? So we got full understanding and clarity. Now, did the Almighty ever say that, before we go back to Genesis 1, did the Almighty ever say that the nation of Israel was like trees at one point? Yes. But he never called, like, people are people. Man is man, women is women. So he's only using these analogies to show maybe like their position, or like they status or stature and different things like that. But never saying it from a literal standpoint, like your arms is like a branch. We're just using an analogy to say maybe his arms was long. Maybe his arms was, thick and wide or skinny or whatever, like. But it's not to say this man is walking around with literal branch arms. And stuff
like Groot off of Avengers.
Exactly. So let's go back here, man. Genesis chapter 1. While we getting that, I seen something in the comment section. He said Yahweh or Yah-O. It's Yahweh all day. Like, you can't find Yah-O in the scripture. Yahweh consists of 4 letters. The tetragrammaton is YHWH all day long. Yah-O, if it's spelled out and transliterated how you're doing it, we got to look in the Hebrew and see if there's a letter A being transliterated where that letter A is, and if there's a letter O being transliterated. Now I know what they're gonna say. The O, because notice how he spelled it. YH''OH. You left out one letter and then replaced another letter. I don't know if you believe in this, but if you just asking for edification, they leave out the H, where it's proven that it's 4 letters that consist of the Almighty name. They took out the H and replaced it with an A, and then they took out the Y and replaced it with an O. And the reason why they say it's Yah-O, because they say where the Y is, because the Y is now a suffix, it makes an O sound. But whenever the Y is in the beginning of the name, it makes a Y sound. That don't make no sense.
What?
That don't make sense at all. Yup. The Hebrew don't work like that. But that's a whole nother topic. I just wanted to address that. All right, so where we at? Genesis 1. Now here's where we can go to say the Almighty exclusively created more than one man. All right. We just gonna read verses 20 and 21.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 1, starting at verse 20. And Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And Elohim created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good.
Now, this is on the 5th day. Keep all this in mind, what I'm about to tell y'all. We believe Adam, the first man Adam, was created on the 6th day, but all these camps are teaching Adam wasn't created on the 6th day. Mankind was created on the 5th day, and Adam was taken from that group and made his own tribe, like as a whole tribe of Adam. But not one man, Adam, was created in the garden. There's only a tribe called Adam. So I'm gonna read it one more time and then we're gonna speed through it. Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life. So they're gonna stop there and be like, is not people creatures? And I'm gonna say, absolutely, people are a sect of creatures. People are identified as one group of creatures created in the creation story. But they were not the creatures created here. Now watch this. If the people were created here, in Genesis 1 and 20 and 21 on the 5th day, then notice the Almighty specified two groups that was created, but never said anything about people or man. It's like just like how we just read in Genesis 1 and 26, and it said man. Let's say if you are right, why didn't the Almighty say something like, and man was created out of this, just as the aquatic life was created during this time on the 5th day, just as the fowls of the air was created. He specified them by name, but he never specified people. So you try to use creature to substantiate your argument, but creature, it was only two groups of creature. We still got more groups of creatures to go. And we're going to read that. All right. So they use that, right? And let's jump down to verse 24. Let's see something. This is the 6th day. Verse 24 is the 6th day. Go ahead.
And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so.
So that's 3 more creatures. We just read 2. We read the fowls and the fishes. All right. Then he added 3 more creatures. He used the same Hebrew word for creature, which is it may be let's just get that.
I got you. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
It's H8318. Sure.
Hold on. For right there. It should be H5315. It should be H5315.
Okay, let me see. Oh, Nefesh. Yep. Nefesh. Yep.
So that definition gonna say what?
It says properly a breathing creature that is animal. That is, an animal. Yep.
Okay. It got more? Should have some more.
It say that first line. Yep.
Okay.
Animal or abstractly vitality used very widely in literal, accommodated or figurative sense, bodily or mental, appetite, beast, body, creature, fish, man, mind, mortality, person. Yep.
Cool. So they use this to say, like it's almost like because they see the Hebrew word here, the Hebrew word gonna always stand how it's gonna stand. And it's still gonna hold the same definition, even if it comes before something is created. Like what you just read in the definition was beast, right? Guess what? The beast wasn't created on the 5th day, but it still used the same definition. Why? Because this is something that's already put together. We're just reading the creation story before we even have the understanding of what this stuff meant. So it almost seemed like we got to predate, the creation story with these definitions, so to speak. Like, hey, if it mean man, then that mean when the first time I read creature, that mean man was there. No, it just mean that that man holds that definition, whether it was before he was created or after. It's just a future tense type of definition that we got later on when we started to understand our language. But so when you look at it for what it's worth, yes, man is a creature. Fowls of the air are creatures. The aquatic life, the fish are creatures. Cattle, as we read in verse 24, are creatures. The creeping things are creatures, and the beasts of the field are creatures. So I would always go into this argument and ask them, well, if Adam wasn't created on the 5th day, when was the beast created? You will have to say the beast was created on the 6th day. Guess what? I just won an argument, because if the beast was created on the 6th day, who are creatures? If the creeping things and the cattle was created on the 6th day, who also are creatures, then why can't the first man Adam, who's also a creature, be created on the 6th day? You only try to push the definition towards your argument, like creature mean man, so he was created. Well, the beast was created on the 5th day too. and all of the other. So it's 6 total groups that the Almighty said he created. He only created 2 on the 5th day, followed by the other 4 groups. Nobody asked these questions. All right. Where else they go? So they gonna say this. Their rebuttal is gonna be figure out what else they be saying. If you got anything too, you can bring it out. All right. So they be like, all right, cool. This is how we know that mankind was, created on the 5th day. Let's go to the Apocrypha. We're gonna go to the Apocrypha, and we're gonna go to the book of 2nd Esdras. Second Esdras chapter 6. Okay. 2nd Esdras chapter 6. And let's pick it up at verse number actually, we're gonna stay in 2nd Esdras. Let's go here first. Let's go to 2nd Esdras 8 and 8. So when we look at that word waters,
okay.
When we look at that word waters that we read in Genesis 1 and 20, and the waters brought forth the living things after his kind. That word waters was referring to literal waters. And yes, it did bring out the aquatic life after his kind. My only thing is them lying to uphold their doctrine. They go to this precept that we about to read and say, we know the waters wasn't literal waters. What do you mean the waters wasn't literal waters? They say go to 2nd Esdras 8 and 8. So let's read this.
It's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 8 and verse 8. For when the body is fashioned now in the mother's womb, and thou givest it members, thy creature is preserved in fire and water, and 9 months doth thy workmanship endure, thy creature which is created in her.
Now, you know what they say out of this? They get out of this? They say, you know how a woman, right? After she is at the end of her 3rd trimester, this woman, right before she's rushed to the hospital, what happens? You know what I mean? And it's like a lot of
water breaking.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of stuff happened. We'll get to your point. And they say that her water break, and she bring forth what? A living soul. So they say that waters meant a woman is giving birth. Here's the ultimate question. If creatures, both male and female, or mankind was created on the 5th day, who gave birth to them? If that waters is supposed to symbolize a woman's womb, you almost sound like an Egyptologist.
Right.
Because the Egyptologists say the black woman is God, and the black woman came here from stardust. And if it wasn't for her being created first, like how y'all say Adam created first, she was created first. If it wasn't for her, then we wouldn't be here, because we all come from the woman who's God and all this. So they almost sound like Egyptologists, but they're not going to say, they can't say that a woman brought forth these creatures, right? That's a contradiction. You told me all of mankind was created on the 5th day. So who brought them forth out of the womb?
Right.
Don't tell me Mother Earth. Mother Earth was designed to move and operate by nature, how the Almighty designed it. All right. And if you know anything, the Almighty didn't use water to create Adam. We would say he used the dry land to create Adam. All right. But
exactly. Yep.
So yeah, they go here, but then let's read it one more time, because they be picking and choosing how they gonna deal with it. So let's say this: for when the body is fashioned, and I would agree with this, the body is fashioned in the womb of a woman and her water break, but we can't tie this in.
Absolutely.
All right, this is just poetic language. The body is preserved.
Right.
Now it is are fashioned now in the mother's womb, and thou givest it members. Thy creature is preserved in what? In fire and water. That's 2 elements. Y'all chose water out of the 2 to say Yeah, that's what it meant in
Ran with
Genesis.
it.
But where was the fire at? Where, like, break that down.
Con.
You know what I mean? Y'all just use one of the two elements because you saw waters and thought, I'm gonna go wherever it say waters at and use that. But where's the fire? So break that down. What do it really mean? What is it really talking about? And so let's stay in this book. Now let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 6. They're gonna go here and we can use these same scriptures to back up our side. Not 2nd Ezra 8 and 8 per se. That would be used for another time, but we can use this scripture here to back up our stance. And it's about to put them in a deeper hole. So let's begin at verse let's see, we want to deal with the 5th day creation. So let's begin at verse 46 or 47.
2nd Ezra. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, starting at verse 47. Upon the 5th day, thou saidest unto the 7th part, where the waters were gathered, that it should bring forth living creatures, fowls and fishes, and so it came to pass.
Is that not what we just read in Genesis?
And
Salika, is that not what we just read in Genesis 1 and 20, right? In verse 48,
yep.
For the dumb water without life brought forth living things at the commandment of Elohim, that all people might praise thy wonderful works. So that's what happened, right? And all Ezra is doing is just re-edifying, re-identifying the 6th and 7th day creation story. All right, now go ahead.
Verse 49. Then didst thou ordain 2 living creatures, the one thou callest Enoch, and the other Leviathan, and didst separate the one from the other, for the 7th part, namely, where the water was gathered together, might not hold them both. Unto Enoch gavest 1 part, which was dried up the 3rd day, that he should dwell in the same part wherein are 1,000 hills. But unto Leviathan he gaveth the 7th part, namely the moist, and has kept him to be devoured, of whom thou wilt and when. Upon the 6th day thou gavest commandment unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things.
Stop right there, right?
After these, Adam. Okay.
Yeah. So they gonna stop reading at 53 to substantiate that yes, we were created on the 5th day, right? And then we read on the 6th day, they will have to agree that 3 more groups was created. And that whole you know what I mean? I know we read the term Enoch. Enoch is not talking about the man Enoch. This Enoch is actually talking about a land creature, right? It used Enoch here, but if you read it in like the NRSV, it's gonna say Bohemian, and it's just it's just a little mistranslation right here. But it could have been because Enoch also means if I remember, Enoch has a definition just to his name, and it also means something like to build or something like that. So this land creature could have just been used during this time to do the wonderful works of the Almighty. And then Leviathan, we know that that's like a sea monster or sea creature. So just so people don't get confused to think like, hey, is Enoch here? But
no, that's good.
So
that's good. That's good clarification.
They'll stop here and be like, yeah, so we was created right now. Some of the camps kept reading this. I'm not gonna camp bash or nothing like that and say who it was in particular, but one particular brother kept reading this and he kind of skipped over what we believe as far as what we believe about Adam being created. So let's pay close attention to these next 3 verses that we about to read from verse 54 all the way to about 56. So pay close attention, y'all.
Verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this I have spoken before thee, Yahweh, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
So we see that. So let's start back at 54. I hope everybody caught that, because this just went against everything they teach about mankind being created on the fifth day. All right.
Come.
And then they use one of these verses. Majority of the times when they out teaching, they use these verses or one of these verses to signify that the other nations mean nothing to the Almighty, right? And we will agree that all these nations as a whole, the Almighty didn't deal with them like he dealt with Jacob or Israel. So when it comes to these other nations as a whole, he treat them as spittle. He treat them like the drop that falls from a bucket. That's Isaiah 40 and 15 all day long. But let's read it back to 54. And after these, what do you mean after these? After the beasts, the cattle, the creeping things, the fowls of the air, and the aquatic life was created. After these, Adam also. Now this is the sixth day. Whom thou madest master over all thy creatures, whom of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. So wait a minute. Ezra said we all come from Adam, meaning mankind comes from Adam. And also he made a distinction. And also the people whom thou hast chosen. Who is that? That's Israel all day long.
Yep.
Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Yahweh, because thou madest the world for our sakes. Now watch this. As for the other people, so if Adam was taken from the sect of creatures or mankind that was created on the fifth day, that means he just took Adam, the tribe of Adam, from these other nations, not the other nations from Adam. But watch this. Verse 56. And as for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. Thou hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So he collectively said all people come from Adam, but he said even your chosen. And then he said, as far as the other people, which also come from Adam, you liken to them as spittle and treat them like a drop of a bucket. Wait a minute. It should be Adam coming from them, not them coming from Adam. Because this is what they'll say. Genesis 2 and 7, I'm going to just quote it. And he formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils, and man became what? A living soul. Guess what? That word for soul in the English also was synonymous with creatures. Also was the same Hebrew word that was used when he said he created these creatures. So man became a living creature at that point when he breathed into his nostrils. You know what they say? That when he brought him from the dust of the ground, he just brought him from a lower state. And he brought him from these group of people. So if that's true, let's say if that's true, all right, cool. That's true. This scripture here, you calling Ezra a liar, because Ezra just told you that these people come from Adam. Adam never came from these people. But you just said that he came from the dust of the ground, meaning from these people, and the Almighty poured the knowledge in him and made him teach all the men how to operate. You're a liar. Truth in you. The word going to continue to substantiate itself. It's going to interpret itself. You know what I mean? It's not of any private interpretation. All right. So, and then they'll say this. They'll say the people are the trees. Let's go back to Genesis 1. The people are the trees. You know, when we go to Ezekiel 31, verse 3, it talks about how the trees was exalted and all these different things, right? And that's an analogy given about the Assyrian king. And they use in Ezekiel 31 is like verse 9 to talk about how, you know, he was more stout and, you know, higher than the trees in the garden and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's a way we can deal with that too. All right. But if trees are the people, let's see when the trees was created, and let's ask another question. So Genesis chapter 1. let me see where I want to go. Genesis 1, and let's start at verse 11.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 1, starting at verse 11. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, and the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day.
Wait a minute.
And Elohim
That's
said,
contradiction. Another contradiction. You told us that the people were created on the fifth day, and they are the trees in the garden, according to Ezekiel 31. But we just read where the Almighty created what? The trees with the fruit yielding seed after his kind on the what? Third day. That's a 2 day gap.
Third day.
Now, where did these people come from if he already created them on the third day? You playing games, and the scriptures don't like it, and I don't like it. The scriptures, scriptures don't correlate with it. So it's a simple question. If you say that the trees are the people, then why do I see the trees being created on the third day? If you said these trees, i.e. people, were created on the fifth day, they have no answer. Now, the Almighty showed us here too, that it was vegetation being started here. But guess what he said in Genesis 2 though? Let's go back to Genesis 2 to let you know that the trees aren't the people and let you know that they are bold-faced lie. Genesis 2, and let's see when he created Adam, let's see what he said right after he created it. Shoot, let me see. I think it might be a little somewhere in the middle of the chapter. Nah, nope.
Okay.
Could be Genesis. Was it Genesis 3? 1 second. It's a good one though. Watch this. All right. I thought I had this one. All right, Genesis 2 and verse 5. Now, the people was created on the fifth day according to their doctrine. The people are the trees, but the trees was obviously created on the third day. And not only the trees, but the grass and all this different stuff, right? As far as what was created on dry land. Now, let's pick it up at Genesis 2, verse 4 and 5.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, starting at verse 4. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that Elohim made the earth and the heavens, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Yahweh Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground.
Wait a minute, if the trees are the people, and they were created on the fifth day, but the Almighty showed us that he made the trees and all these vegetation stuff on the third day, that means upon this day, which is the sixth day, the Almighty just told us that no man, i.e. the Hebrew word H120 again, no Adam to do what? Till the ground. That means you lost again. No man was created on the third, fourth, fifth day to till what he made on the third day. And you know what I mean? And whatnot. So that's another question to throw out there. Like, if there was no man to till the ground, how can I even possibly believe someone was here on the fifth day, or even the fourth day, or even the third? That's why he didn't cause it to rain at that time. Everything was planted looking to produce in and of itself, but he didn't cause it to rain at this point because no man was here to do what he needed to do. So it's a lot of folly and lies, man. And I hope everybody catching this and taking notes. We're gonna deal with a few more though. We're gonna deal with a few more. We got a whole lot of ammunition like in the bag on this, man. Like, but let's deal with this. When they say, let's go to Genesis 4. Genesis 4, then we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up here shortly. What the sister say? She said, you got to think some of them don't even have an apocrypha. And the ones that do probably don't read them. Like this precept. This is where the lost comes in at. Keep the people lost. Right. Yep. They being taught, it's like a system. They don't contextualize their scriptures. They textualize their scriptures. You know what I mean? I'm going to say it again. They don't contextualize in the scriptures. They textualize. We got precepts, they got he steps. They tell their men how to go out and teach against something, but never give them the other side. Like, hey, they're going to come at you like this. Da, da, da. They just give it to them like, hey, da, 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 da. Matter of fact, they do it. Hey, the people going to say Adam was the first man. You just take them here. You just take them here. You just take them here. And all we're doing is contextualizing everything, putting this ancient Hebrew on there and fact. All right, so Genesis 4 and 17, we'll probably just end here. Unless you got something else, huh?
Nah, we pretty much done took care of it. You said Genesis 4 and 17?
Come.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 17. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived, and bare Enoch, and he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch.
Right. So they question would be, well, if Adam, if Cain took a wife, right? And remember when Cain slew Abel, he told the Almighty, let me go up a couple verses. This is what he told the Almighty. Verse 14. Thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And Yahweh said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken upon him sevenfold. And Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Now, most people going to teach, like we said yesterday, most people going to teach that this mark was him having leprosy and turning white. And the vision taken on him sevenfold meant down to his seventh generation. But the vengeance was taken on the person that slayed him sevenfold, not Cain's generation being cursed with the plague sevenfold. Just to throw that in there.
Exactly.
But back to the point. So they say, if it wasn't other people on the face of the earth, why is Cain saying things like why did he has like some type of schizophrenia, and afraid like somebody gonna kill him? Like, who's out there? If nobody's out there, why is he so afraid? So they don't realize that Genesis, in a lot of places speaks as it's like a process of time. How do we know that? This whole scripture, these scriptures are more so like patriarchal. You'll read where men are having sons and sons begotten sons and maybe a few daughters here, but it's more so patriarchal. But then notice, if we go to Genesis 5 and 1 and 2, it's going to tell you Adam and Eve had what? Sons and daughters. But it never mentioned the daughter's name in Genesis. That means it's telling you it's a process of time before they got to that point. And so they never question that because they're not taught to question these things. They overlook them. So back to 17. And when he knew his wife, they're gonna say, well, who was his wife? Right? It was just Cain and Abel. Had to have been more women. You know what I mean? But once again, Adam knew his wife and they had sons and daughters. They don't even mention Cain, Abel, and Seth. All right. So we about to go to our scriptures that we know is of a truth. We're gonna go to the book of Jubilees. And the book of Jubilees, what they will call like little Genesis, Jubilees and Jasher attest to these scriptures. and it's gonna fill in the gaps. Now, while we getting that Jubilees chapter 4, we're gonna just read maybe 8 verses. While we getting that, Cain had a Slayer descendants, and Seth had a bunch of descendants, right? And so what ended up happening was during that process of time that we about to read about, when we go to the book of Jasher, we realize that the mark that was placed on Cain wasn't the mark of leprosy, it was a mark of protection. The Almighty sovereign, he could do what he want to do. Most people think, "Oh, punish him, kill him." The Almighty just put a mark of protection on him.
Right.
For his pleading. He repented. And
right. Yep.
But once he said what he said, like, "Hey, have vengeance on me," or whatnot, we see that death ended up catching up to him, and it was through Tubal-Cain. I think Tubal-Cain or Lamech was out in the field. I'm not mistaken. Nah, not Lamech. It might have been it was Tubal-Cain and his father. Shoot, I forgot who it was. Somebody put it in the chat if you can find it. But they was out in the field and they was hunting. And Cain was out there, but Cain was looking like an animal. This was the protection that the Almighty gave him. So when Tubal-Cain struck him, they thought, "Hey, we just killed an animal." So when they walked up to go see the animal that they killed, the scripture in Jasher say that I think it was Lamech, man. I hope I'm not butchering who was there with Tubal-Cain. But it said his eyes was dim. And so when he got there, they realized it was Cain, and they thought he was an animal. And so he ended up killing Tubal-Cain. Like, "Oh shoot, Tubal-Cain, like, what did I just do? I just killed Cain." And he ended up clapping his hands together and killing Tubal-Cain on the spot. Like, "Oh yeah, I can't let him, you know what I mean? I can't let him go back to the people and
Right.
find out he killed somebody." And that's kind of what happened to Cain or whatnot. And that's why nobody sought to kill him, because they ain't recognize who he was. He was a fugitive. He was moving. But as far as his wife, we about to read about who this wife was. All right. Where we at? The book of Jubilees, chapter 4, beginning at verse 1.
Jubilees 4. It's the book of Jubilees, chapter 4, starting at verse 1. And in the third week, in the second Jubilee, she gave birth to Cain. And in the fourth, she gave birth to Abel. And in the fifth, she gave birth to her daughter, Awan. And in the first year of the third Jubilee, Cain slew Abel, because Elohim accepted the sacrifice of Abel and did not accept the offering of Cain.
So stop right there.
He slew him in the field, and his
So we see something happening here in verse 1. And in the third week, in the second Jubilee. So what is a Jubilee? 50 years, right? 49 plus 1. All right. So it says the third week and the second Jubilee. So we have the Jubilees are counted as a 7 week period. 7 times 7, right? And it said in the third week. So that means we got 4 weeks to go before we get to the third Jubilee. All right. And it said what? My bad. I just lost the part where it said she gave birth to Cain, and in the fourth, she gave birth to Abel. And in the fifth, meaning the 5th week of the second Jubilee, she gave birth to her daughter, Awan. So Cain, Abel, and Awan is here. And it continues to talk about what happened during the sacrificial portion when they started the beef. Verse 3,
Verse 3, and he slew him in the field, and his blood cried from the ground to heaven, complaining because he had slain him. And Yahweh reproved Cain because of Abel, because he had slain him, and he made him a fugitive on the earth because of the blood of his brother, and he cursed him upon the earth. And on this account it is written on the heavenly tables, cursed is he who smites his neighbor treacherously. And let all who have seen and heard say, so be it. And the man who has seen it and not declared it, let him be accursed as the other. Verse 6, and for this reason we announce, when we come before Yahweh our Elohim, all the sin which is committed in heaven and on earth and in light and in darkness and everywhere. And Adam and his wife mourned for Abel 4 weeks of years. And in the 4th year of the 5th week, they became joyful. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Seth. For Elohim has raised up a second seed unto us on the earth instead of Abel, for Cain slew him.
Right. So you see a process of
Verse
time
8.
is happening. A process of time is happening since they've had Cain, Abel, and Awan, right? And now they having Seth in the 4th year of the 5th week, right? And so we're gonna calculate all the time when we're done. And I think the scriptures is gonna do it for us, right? So what we have, verse 8.
Yep, verse 8.
All right, and verse
And
8
in the
says,
6th week,
oh, go ahead, my bad.
go ahead, Op.
Okay, so and in the 6th week, he begot his daughter Azurah. Verse 9. And Cain took who? Awan, his sister, to be his
Awan.
wife, and
Yep.
she bare him Enoch. We just read that in Genesis 4 and 17, just didn't mention her name. And at the close of the 4th Jubilee, and in the 1st year of the 1st week of the 5th Jubilee, houses were built on the earth, and Cain built a city and called its name after the name of his son Enoch. So what did it just say out? In the close of the 4th Jubilee, right? If we add 4 Jubilees, that's almost 200 years, because it say in the close of it.
Yep.
Right. In the close of it. And then it says, and in the 1st year of the 1st week of the 5th Jubilee. So now you're at the tip top of the 5th Jubilee where they're doing this stuff. So a process of 200 years where we know that mankind was living well beyond that. Adam lived and died at 930. Methuselah, he was the oldest person in the script that we read about. He lived to be like 980 or something like that, 960, something like that. I might be off. But so 200 years was nothing to them. All right. So you wonder, all right, during the process of 200 years, you know how many people is on the face of the earth now? You know how many people is widespread in the earth? It goes back to what he told Adam and Eve: be fruitful and multiply, right? Replenish the earth. Replenish don't mean to refill, because they see the word replenish means to fill. So as the commandment was given to them, or the charge, because there's a difference between a commandment and charge. Charges are commandments, but a charge is given to a specific person or group of people. So when the charge was given to them, everybody just followed suit. So then they'll say this. So we got that, you know, the process of time, all these people being made, and cities was built and all this stuff, right? So it's only right that when it come back full circle, he's now running at this time. He's now being a fugitive from the people that came after him, that proceeded after him. And so they'll use this tactic. Well, that's incest. Well, guess what? It couldn't have been incest at this time, because the law of incest did not come until the law of Moses came to our people, where we didn't need to do incest anymore. Now, Americanized incest is this. Americanized incest is if you sleep with your immediate family, which is the incest that Almighty was talking about. If you also sleep with those who are married in, like a mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother, sister-in-law, because they're like unto your immediate family. And then it also stretches to the fact that you can't sleep with your cousins. Like in America or in the Western world, you can't sleep with your cousins. That's also incest. But we would go on record to say this. Number one, that wasn't incest during that time. That was a past truth that could be done, and the Almighty was okay with it because the earth was being filled. How do we know that the Almighty didn't have a problem with it? Abraham also slept with his sister, who was Sarah. And the whole incident where, shoot, the name slipped my mind, but when Abraham told the king, he said, "This is surely my sister." You know what I mean? And a lot of people was like, Abraham lied just to spare her life. Abraham didn't lie. It was his sister. They had the same father. They didn't have the same mother. You know what I mean? And so that would have been incest, and the Almighty should have addressed it. But the Almighty covered Abraham and visited the king in his dream, like Abimelech. He had visited Abimelech in his dream and said, you know, you got to let Sarah go, for surely she's another man's wife, which is Abram. And he told Abimelech how he gonna strip him from the kingdom. And Abimelech was so afraid and was like, why you ain't just tell me that, man? Like, you almost got me killed. You know what I mean? So it wasn't incest. And we know Abraham did what? Abraham kept his laws, statutes, commandment, and his charge. So why would the Almighty say at that time it was incest, but then turn around and say Abraham was a friend? He was perfect. He did what I had to do. It didn't become incest until Leviticus 18, where, yes, immediate family members is incest at that time and from that time on. But cousins are not incest. Cousins, you know, go as far as Jacob, marrying Rachel and Leah. They was his cousins.
Yep.
And Almighty didn't address it. So we all really cousins. We probably just down to the 3,700 cousins. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
we down in the generations.
Yeah. Like, you know the term, keep it in the family. And that's why a lot of people in the days of old looked alike.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people look alike in the days of old, because they was intermingling with their own, like our own tribes. You can't intermingle with your own tribe if y'all not cousins.
Right.
You know what I mean? People be missing that. But yeah, man, it wasn't incest. He took on his sister to wife, and it was completely okay with the Almighty. So whatever they be trying to use, we got an answer for it or whatnot. And appreciate on the back chat. Appreciate people, you know, putting things in the back chat.
Hallelujah. Yep.
And stuff like that, man. Yup. Abimelech. I just came to my mind. Yep. So yeah, man. What else, man? So I think that was it, man. We got more, like I said, but should we well over the hour mark, man, and we'll probably just close out with that. Probably deal with, you know, some stuff later on and whatnot. But hopefully y'all took notes, man, and really know how to substantiate this truth, ask these certain questions that we threw out there. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if they were trees, then they should have been created on the third day. If they were created on the fifth day, but the trees and the vegetation and the herbs and all the, you know, the grass yielding after its kind, was, if all that stuff was created on the third day, why did the Almighty say he created Adam and didn't cause it to rain? Because there was no man to till the ground. It's almost like y'all trying to play the Almighty like he don't know his own, you know, he don't know what he doing in a sense. So yeah, man, if y'all ain't got nothing in the chat, I don't really see too much of nothing. Just a lot of agreement or whatnot. If y'all ain't got nothing, you know,
only thing I'll bring out, man, is people just need to, as you're reading the scriptures, man, you have to be able to understand that there was a lot of poetic writings in the scriptures. And I think people spend a lot of time focused on things that's not edifying. In my opinion, that's not building the people up. Like, that's not edifying the people. That ain't helping us get into the kingdom. Like, none of that. Like, we searching, you know, for these real deep. Well, I ain't gonna say we, like us, but you have people in Israel who are searching for these deep. They want this deep, you know, revelations and all of this deep stuff. They just kind of pulling out of the air, and it's like, what is it going to profit us? What is it going to profit the king? What is it going to profit your house? Like, you know what I mean? So I just think, man, people just got to be mindful when they read the scriptures. There was a lot of poetic writing, you know, and in the midst of that, pray and all that get understanding. You can't just take something and run with it without praying first, you know what I'm saying, and get some counsel and be open to, you might just be wrong. Like, you might just be wrong, just like the Ak, you know what I mean? When he said, like, yo, like, I was wrong, like, you know what I mean? and I was interested to hear what he had to say in regards to how he came to, you know, the correct conclusion. But all praise to the Most High that he was humble enough to be like, yo, like I was wrong, I was off deck, and you know what I'm saying, he was able to admit that. But how much more should, you know, Israel be on that? You know, we need to be, you know, as different things are coming to the forefront, we got to be open. Like we may just be wrong, and you got to be humble enough to admit that and get back on and get on the right track. So that's just what I want to bring out. But man, great lesson, man.
Yep. Hallelujah, man. Hallelujah. So hopefully a lot of our brothers that's kind of weary of this particular topic can you know, start to catch on, man. And definitely, man, like if y'all know any brews that's kind of straddling the fence on a lot of these topics, like, you know, send them our way. Send them our way, man. Like we really search the scriptures daily as the Berean Jews did. We really be about the Almighty's business, man. And AI Keenan, as far as that virgin birth, absolutely. Like when we look at the Mashiach being the second Adam means just that. The first Adam was created with the breath, you know, or from the dirt and made a living soul. The second Adam was made a quickening spirit. With the first Adam, right? Notice the Almighty punished one man and told him you'll die within the first day because you transgressed. That means if he's talking to a whole tribe of Adam, we are no longer the nation of people that's here from the chosen. Remember, Second Ezra say, your chosen come from Adam. So that means if he killed off the tribe of Adam, right? Because you got to keep the same metaphorical concept. If the scriptures say Adam died in the day that he ate the fruit, then that means the tribe of Adam died. That means there is no longer a chosen people. That means the heathens are now the primary people on the face of the earth. And it's the whole white supremacy, British, you know, what is it, like British, I forgot what they call themselves, but it's that all over again, where they institute, and wherever you see black, it's really white. Wherever you see the Israel, it's really these people. Like replacement theology and all of that. You giving them the keys to it because you're not understanding that you're predicting your own doctrine when you bring this stuff out and you ain't fact check nothing. So yeah, I find it funny how he's punishing one man. How when it say that Adam and Eve, right? We're gonna deal with that. I missed that. How did it say when Adam and Eve came together, they bore who? One man came. Then they came together again, bore one man Abel, and then Seth and sons and daughters. But what happened to the tribe? How do we make a distinction between whether it's tribes or whether it's one man? And so if let's go to the scripture. I want to throw this out there. Eve, right? Watch what it say about Eve. Now, it does call their name Adam when she was taken from men, right? But then Adam, just like he did with the beast, he gave her a name, right? And let's see what it say in Genesis 3. And shoot, is it Genesis 3? Let me see real quick. Because I almost forgot to bring this out. All right. It might be Genesis 3 and 20. Yep. Genesis 3 and 20.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 20. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Now,
if Eve was taken from Adam, she couldn't have predated Adam, whether it's the tribes or any of these nations, right? He took her from Adam and said what? She's the mother of all living. I don't know how more clear it gets than that. She's the mother of all living, meaning all come from Adam, who the wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10 and verse 1 says he was the father of all living. Then it said right here that Eve was the mother of all living. Right? Let's get that. I'm gonna read that in the book of wisdom. My bad, because I think that people be needing this stuff, right?
Are you good?
So you ain't got to go there. I'm gonna read it in the book of wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10 and verse 1. Watch this. She preserved her first form father. Who is the she? It's talking about wisdom, because only the Almighty understands, you know, his wisdom is greater than our wisdom. He the one who gave us the wisdom. So he understands why he's creating these things. And if you going back to say, nah, this is that, you're pretty much saying the Almighty don't know what he's doing. But let's start. She preserved the firstborn father of the world that was created, what? Alone, and brought him out of his fall. So what did she do? What did wisdom do? Wisdom created the father of this world. That's Adam, who was created first alone. And that tied right into our ancient Hebrew. That's tied right into the other scripture. So if he's the father of us all, it just called Eve the mother of all living. It can't get no clearer than that. And so I was about to drive home a point too. So yeah. So if you're saying that, yeah, Adam you know, was a tribe, then why did he get punished? And not only are you saying that Adam is a tribe, he was brought from the dust of the ground, meaning in a low state. But this same Adam that's sinned, it said that you will return back to the dust from which you came. That means you gave Adam the key or dominion over all the creatures, according to their doctrine. When he sinned, he went right back into that lower state. So when did he ever come out of that low state? Is the ultimate question. You said Adam came from the dust of the ground, which was a low state. But when he sinned, the Almighty put him back into the dust from which he came, according to Genesis 3:19. They don't make no sense. You know what I mean? So yeah, we can go on and on and on. Like I said, man, there's so much stuff. But yup, I agree. It's just a lack of understanding. So we got one question now. Yerushalom. Yes, Ron. He said, quick question on the Hebrew. Some Old Testament brothers showed me what he believed was the true Hebrew, and it said the Vav. The Vav had a U sound and not a W. Can you hit that real quick? Cool. So cool. He said you will have to know or to now do research on the letters U, W, and V. I believe and say Yahweh, Yahuwah, concerning the Messiah's son, Yahweh or Yahusha and Yahusha. All right, cool. So yeah, it's pretty easy, man. So basically, when we go to the book of Psalms 119, it actually tells you the name of the letters, right? But in all actuality, we don't we see it like this. It's a it is a transliteration game. It is a letter for letter game dealing with, you know, we're going from one language to another, right? So the ultimate question would be this: how many letters do we have in the ancient Hebrew? 22, right? Now, the only reason why they pronouncing these some of these letters with a V or a U sound when they don't never make a V or a U sound is because Eliezer ben Yehuda, when they instituted the vowel points in modern Hebrew, they changed certain sounds of the words. One passage they may say, if you put a dot here, you know what I mean? If you put some certain dots between the consonants, which the Hebrew letters didn't have vowel points between the consonants, right? The V and the U would be English vowel points, right? So when you put a dot here on the side of this letter, I wish I had my board. It's in the other room so I can show you too. But if you put a certain dot on this side of this letter, it makes it this sound. Put another dot at the bottom of this letter, it makes it this sound. But it's very simple. The Almighty showed us how to deal with the ancient Hebrew. It's only 22 letters. All we do is we got the letter Aleph, which makes an A sound, and every language after that would, if it has an A sound, all we do is take that A sound and take it to that language, right? We don't add nothing in the middle, and we don't, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. We only say Yahweh because Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh from a natural breath standpoint will come out to be Yahweh. So in the English, we will put the A's there to symbolize, you know, the natural breath sounds. But in the Hebrew, we wouldn't add an Alet after the Y. We wouldn't add an Alet after the Hey. That's why those H's, those U's and V's are there, because those are there based upon Eliezer ben Yehuda and how he came in like the 1800s or something like that, around that time, maybe even before, somewhere around that time, where he said he revived the language and started to add all these dots and vowel points between the letters. All right, it never made a U sound. When you see Uriah in the scriptures, Uriah is not Uriah in the scriptures, like with a U. It's like it's a Y there, the letter Y. Even in a modern, they still have 22 letters, but they'll have a dot on like the inside of the Y, say now it makes a U sound. So that's why when we see the Shema song, Shmo Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu Wa, Yahuwah Akkad, but everybody says what? Yahuwah Eloheinu, because when you get to the last letter, which makes a Y sound, the fake Jews said, who made the song? Fake Jews created the song. A lot of people don't know that. The fake Jews created the song and said, this Y sound makes a U sound, so we're going to say Eloheinu. All right, but we know it's gonna make a Y sound all day long. So just pronounce each letter you see.
And I won't even want to sing it no more.
Yup, but just pronounce each letter you see. Crazy, yeah. Pronounce each letter you see and do your best to try to connect the letters among each other. So I wouldn't say Eloheinu when teaching it. It's cool to do it as a song, but when teaching it, I would just say Eloheinu Wa, and it means our gods, right? When you say Eloheinu, it don't even have the same definition. You know what I mean? It's a little trick of the trade. So y'all, hopefully that answered your question, man, and everything. Right, yep. Yep, in the cool system, right? So yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and close out, man. It's been a long, drawn out day. You know what I mean? We went over past the mark or whatever, man. So we love y'all. We pray y'all keep studying, you know, do your due diligence in these scriptures or whatnot. Pray the Almighty continue to cover y'all, man. And with that, man, we say hallelujah and shalom.
Hallelujah, shalom, shalom.